Stop making excuses. Stop playing around. Do it. Simple as that, guys. I want you to do better. Get out of your comfort zone.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand.
What if someone told you that you had to market your business, but you couldn't talk much about what you do? You couldn't show any recommendations, and most people just didn't want to hear it anyway. Well, today's guest is Mike Ashebrander, and when he first entered the financial industry, he was told those things, and he spent 2 years after COVID pitch slapping and spamming inboxes on social media to generate sales. Any of you familiar with that? I bet you are. That was before he learned the secrets to explosive growth on LinkedIn that brought him over 25,000 followers, millions of impressions, a widely viewed live stream, and an actively engaged community. I say let's find out how he did it.
Mike, welcome to Be Bold Branding.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. I should have her follow me around and say that everywhere I go. What do you think?
Every room you walk into, that should be like playing in the background.
Your introduction, I'll record it for you, Mike.
Yeah, I think I might have to redo my live stream with you on it, my intro. I love it.
So good. Hey, so I want to kind of give people a heads up about how we actually met. We were on someone else's live stream, and Mike was chiming in from the side and said, hey, I really like you guys. Let's connect. Maybe you guys could come on my show. And it's like, heck yeah. And then I went to his profile and looked it up on LinkedIn, and it said Redneck Financial Coach. I was in awe immediately. And I thought, oh man, this is a guy that we need to get to know. So here we are. And I love, for those of you who are just listening, you're missing it. You've got to be on Apple watching the video or on YouTube, because Mike is dressed for success. He has his camo hat on, his flannel shirt. The background is a cool little rock cabin. Mike, you've just got this personal brand down to a science at this point, right? As the Redneck Financial Coach. So tell me how in the world you got here.
Oh, goodness gracious. First of all, our conversation, all three of us, was unbelievable. I knew it was going to be okay and good. What I didn't know was we're just a bunch of outhouses wrapped in Gucci purses. That's the best way I can describe it. We're birds of a feather.
I'll second that.
Oh, wow. You two are countrier than me. Like, we're so professional, so down to earth. You know, it's a heck of a balance. So, obviously I was attracted, and I think it was Constance. Maybe it was on her show, but CJ. But how I got started, first of all, I'm a pink neck. All right, let's get that. So I grew up half city, half country. I've been all around urban areas, city areas, suburbs, and country. So I'm about 51% country and redneck, 49% other. But no one in Istanbul or anywhere on social would know what that means, right? Pink neck. So I had to land on redneck. My life has just been a constant journey. I did everything I was supposed to do in life, get a good job, go to school, get a degree, and live the American dream. And at the age of 29, it all come crushing down because my wife and I was 27 years old. We bought a home out in the country. I worked a job I hated, dead end, with my 2 degrees at night shift. And we bought our first home, and 2 years after we bought this home, it had foundation issues. So the culmination of doing everything we're taught, get a job, get a degree, work hard, it ended up bankruptcy. So that's how I got introduced to the financial industry. Somebody, my cousin knew who was a professional. He reached out and helped us, which I never heard of a financial person wanting to work with a broke person before, right? So I was curious. That's why I talked to the guy. And also I was like, hey, I'm filing bankruptcy. What's he going to do to me if he is be a foul, right? If he's not on it, So I did it, and, I loved it. And so anyway, what happened for LinkedIn is real simple. I just, I wanted to make friends, kind of like Chris Rock jokes about with Mark Zuckerberg, why he started Facebook. That's really how the Hounds got started. The LinkedIn growth got started. Nobody wanted to hear about what I do. I was restricted, fiduciary in finance. You got to watch your back, right? So I just decided to meet people. I met great folks who were just like me, starting off and kind of doing their thing. They were kind of new from, corporate people, kind of new to doing side hustles and, trying to start a business or something. And they were all passionate and no clue. And so I had the opportunity to use my experience of screwing everything up for decades to teach them not to do it, right? So about 16 months ago, I just met people. I put them in a little group, loved on them, supported them, let them know that I actually cared. I was a dating coach. I've become a life coach and all kinds of stuff. But, guess what they did? They kicked my butt because they didn't have the restrictions I had on LinkedIn. They kicked my butt. Their results, I was like the fat gymnastics coach, right? Like I ain't flipping, but I can sure teach someone to flip, right? Get a gold medal. So that's really what led here, is that I just wanted to make friends, because I believe this, guys. If people knew who I was and they sensed that, hey, this guy really cares about me, man, he is 1000% on my team. He showed me value. He's there for me when it's not convenient. That's all I needed. If I had a handful of people that could reciprocate and appreciate that, I would figure the rest of it out as I went. And dadgummit, here we are. And I attracted you two, so at least I'm doing something right. But that's really the crux of it, guys. I just wanted to go out, practice my kindergarten skills. I sucked at sales, so I had to find a way around it. And I did that. And I'm still fleshing out how to teach others. I'm getting better at it, about 90% there. But that's it. I just wanted to build true relationships, work with people I love to work with. And boy, I feel like a poor kid living in Santa's workshop. It is unreal. The last 6 months have been glorious.
That's fantastic. You hear about it all the time. Give some good value, give good content. I'm speaking from me personally too. I don't know what that looks like, but I don't fully get that part of the game, right? And thank God people on our team do, but I'm not one of those. But when you say it, I get it. I think it's because we are both rednecks and we understand that, but you are very genuine. And the times that we have spent with you, you are a very genuine person, and things that you have done, even to help us, very genuine things. And so it's very important that the listener, I think, take that. It's not just about saying, I want to be genuine to people, it's actually being genuine to people, which is not easy to do, is it?
Not all the time. But on that point, I think you set me up really good, man. It's like we planned.
Teed it up there,
man. And that's how energy is. I mean, birds of a feather. But, the key is in attracting and repelling. So I didn't always do the redneck thing. In fact, I suppressed it for 40 years. I didn't want people to know that I had, humble background and resonated and still go to the country, and on the weekends to recharge. But, if you want me to tell this, so I met a guy who was an influencer about 16 months ago. And he had actually trained most of the influencers. He'd been on the platform since it started. It was right around Christmas time, about a year and a half ago. And this guy, like Wizard of Oz, Michael, he just pulled the curtain back. He started teaching me all the things I wanted to learn, like how to attract people, how to build trust and rapport the real way. If this guy told me to put a traffic cone on my head and do jumping jacks in the street, man, what do I got to lose, right? So he was coaching me a couple months, and one day, and I love direct people, man. I love direct people who are good people. He says, hey man, your profile sucks and you're wearing a suit. Talking about my LinkedIn profile, right? And he said, why? That's a good question. I said, well, that's what everybody in my industry does, right? I mean, we always kind of wear suits and look the part, financial coaches, etc. And he says, is it working for you? Oh, heck no, man. It's not working at all. He says, you're a working guy. You're a regular dude. That's who you focus on, help. He says, why don't you let that out? Why don't you let people see that? I said, because it won't work. He says, well, is it working now? Nope. So that's what happened. I did Larry the Cable Guy in reverse, if you're familiar with him. I just let it out. When I turned 40, here was the talk. And I think a lot of people, your audience, can relate to this talk. When I turned 40, I said, you know what? I want to be happy. Above all else, I want to be happy and peaceful and enjoy what I value in life. So if I can't make it in my industry, then I'll go be a daggum rodeo clown or some crap I can be successful at. And that really freed me up to get out of my own head. So I tried to get a picture of my buddies, the real rednecks, but they were shy and bashful, like most of us are, right? And so I got to get this in the museum. I got to find the original banner. I paid $35 for this thing. And it just had two country guys in overalls and corn hats talking. And it said, redneck financial coach. Somehow I got it past compliance. And guess what happened? Dude, people who, there's some people who heads up their own tailpipes, right? I mean, we're all over the place. So those people just ignored me, right? And then I had successful people, HR directors. It was amazing. The first thing they would message me on LinkedIn is, I had a 1976 Chevy. They send me pictures of it. What a fun, happy, peaceful day when you wake up and all you have to do is just go out there and love on a whole bunch of people. Wait for the handful of people to respond the right way and take it from there. That's how we met. I just showed up and said, these guys look fun. I'm going to go out there and do what I can to support Tanya and Michael. Took 2 nanoseconds and boy, they were on it. It really is that simple. It's not easy, but it's not complicated. track.
Great advice.
Yes.
Super great
Yeah.
advice.
And I love it's not easy, but it's not complicated because
Mhm.
you mentioned a word, even when it's inconvenient, right? And it seems like in today's world, we're all so doggone busy that everything seems so inconvenient. It just does. But then you have to think about, well, why am I here really doing what I'm doing? And I think what I love, about your brand and you, Mike, is that you're just so genuine about who you are and where you come from. And I remember several years back when my grandfather died, I had the opportunity to write his eulogy. And I didn't know my grandfather very well. Like I had grown up only seeing him maybe once a year. In later years of his life, I knew him a lot better, but we still didn't have that long history together. And I remember thinking, okay, what do we have in common? And I wrote that eulogy about coming from a small town and how important it was to never forget where you come from. And that came from my heart because that's who he was. And that's the only place where we really connected, right? But it was so true. And it really took that experience for me to realize, oh my gosh, never forget where you come from, because it is exactly who and why you exist today, like who you are and why you're doing what you're doing today. That's absolutely all that it is.
And it is almost like counterintuitive, to be real when we think that we need to be putting on a certain air and a certain look and a certain, and we build personal brands. That's what we do. And there's the first thing she taught me, like, if I'm going to do this, you have to be authentic to the brand that we create. You can't act like you're one thing and then really be something else. Everybody's going to sniff that out. It's never going to work. You have to be that brand, who we are, and you live that every day. And then to being that vulnerable about it really opened the door for you. I know for us, one of the things that was a catalyst for us is we decided we were same thing you did. We said, look, we're going to be happy about life, period. Because we've got a finite amount of time and we really don't know if that ends in the next before this show's over, right? And so we got to get how we're going to do this. And we decided we were going to go to a 3.5 day work week. And then we started figuring out how are we going to do that. And when we started trying to figure out how we were going to do that is when the company exploded.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was because we had to,
you had to let go.
We had to let go of so much that was just unfiltered, writing.
Oh, yeah.
And then when we started prioritizing all of that, then we were better for our clients. Our clients began to do better. So it's really interesting how those changes are just so subtle sometimes, but they make all the difference in the world.
Mike, what did you learn throughout this metamorphosis of the guy in the suit to the redneck financial coach? What did you learn about yourself that you really didn't know before?
Again, it's not something that you would expect people to talk about openly. And this is what makes, our community of people special, professionals. I didn't think anybody would buy into it. I honestly did. So when I set out and let myself out and embrace the brand, it was uncomfortable. It was horrible. But I've seen people champion, encourage me, people that UN women's president, right? Like if she's telling me I should do it, she's not going to say that if it's going to be a disaster, right? I don't, powerful litigator, very successful people are encouraging me. And I just work hard. I don't pay much attention. So I'm just always working. And I had people around me say, hey, poke your head out of the ground and look around. Like you had no idea what you created over 9 months. And I think that was the biggest telling point for me, was the encouragement and the affirmation. If I didn't have the people around me, I wouldn't be able to even know what I was doing if it was working. So I think the fact that people would not just buy in, but it take what I've started and grow it voluntarily and get as passionate about me. And what I'm referring to, and I know I'm crude, I hope you warned your audience, but I'll keep it PG. But for example, somebody asked me, what's the difference between you and the hounds and your community and what you built on social and LinkedIn? And, I got to polish this, but I wanted to give an answer and I thought about it. I said, well, how these books on relationships and romance and all that stuff when it comes to business? I said, honestly, the best way, and forgive me, you can edit this out, but I said, they're really nice and kind and generous business pimps. With me, on the other hand, I actually love my wives, man. I love all y'all. We're going to move over to the West Coast and do it right. And it was so stupid, but people got it. They're like, yeah. And what I mean by that is that some of the people that we're working with and doing really big business with, I mean, there were some $250,000 to $1 million revenue contracts coming through this. And it's insane. We're not that big. We just have a huge impact. And, I think a big part of that it has to do with how vulnerable and open we are. You do not have to hide who you are. Matter of fact, if you hide who you are for too long, we're going to think something's up and we're going to get rid of you probably after a couple talks. But people had serious issues, health issues, family issues, and we leaned into it instead of backing off. And that is just, I mean, how can you not trust people you're in the trenches with who show up to help you and your family and your children and things like that? Man, you don't worry about trust at that level. I mean, it's all trust at that level. So it makes business easier. And I think that was probably the main thing was I didn't think people would really buy into this redneck Camelot that we built on and offline. I just really never thought people like you and successful folks would go, that's silly. Not, oh, wow, it's finally here. Does that make sense?
No,
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
And honestly, from, you had already established a great follow. I mean, we've only known each other, a couple of months now, but Tanya says, you got to see this guy. And like, she pulls you up or whatnot. And I was like, yep. I said, that guy's got it figured out. Redneck Financials, got the background, the hat, the flannel, like wearing this brand. Yep. I knew instantly that you had it figured out because that's what we do is help people with those things. And you did it on LinkedIn in a fantastic way. So let's make it real for the listener out there that's like, hey, I want to do this. I want to do that. We may be talking to just one person. Hopefully we're talking to thousands that need this, right? But is it truthfully taking a step to lean into the conversations, for heaven's sakes, because it just seems like we don't want to scratch past the surface because, Americans, like, we're like, hey, man, how you doing? We really don't want you to tell us. It's just like, hello.
We don't want to know.
Yeah,
right?
we are, you know what I mean? But I do find as a person that when you ask people that, if you genuinely wait for an answer and or pull an answer out of them, you get a lot closer to that person because they're expecting you to just say it and not really mean it. And if you grab them by the shoulder, like, I really want to know, like, how you doing today? Is that how you do it? You think that's a major takeaway to what people need to be doing to build their LinkedIn or any other social media or just being a salesman on the street?
See, that's why I like you guys, man. You get it. It's a great question. And so I would think if it starts with mindset. So before you engage on LinkedIn or in an in-person networking or a cold call or a referral, but it doesn't matter. Well, what is the intention? What do I expect to take away? What do I expect to give, right? So if my expectation is to pitch slap or to spam somebody, I can pretend it like it's not, but it's going to come out. People, we have a biology that sniffs out bull stuff. I mean, that's how we were back in the cave days, right? It could be a bush or a bear. We didn't have time for psychology and reason. We had to figure it out. It was our fight, flight, and freeze. So I think the important thing is to relax, number one, and view it with the proper mindset. So everybody out there, I promise you, I'm going to give you some value. Hell, if you stayed in with me for 20 minutes, you deserve this. This is freebie, all right? I want you to think of this like a game of ping pong. There's almost 1 billion people, 800 million people, not all active, but still on LinkedIn, all right, or any social. Think of it as a game of ping pong. Even if you go face to face, not a lot of difference. I'm just going to hit the ball to people. That's it. I'm not going to niche them. I'm not going to try to hone down. Just anybody in the room gets the ball. Boom. What's that mean? Well, that means that I gave you attention. I liked your post. I made a meaningful comment. I gave you something. And we all make posts and we want what? We want someone to acknowledge us, to help us. There's nothing worse than making a post in the morning, going to bed at night. Nobody liked the thing, right? We feel like a kid picked last at basketball. Come on. That was me. So when you go out and love on others, and don't send a connection request, don't send a daggone message. Go to their profile, pull up their activity, like and comment on a few of those. Make meaningful engagement. Find something you can say something to. Maybe tag a buddy of yours and let them know, hey, want to show these folks some love. Then you have a choice. The ball's in your court. I hit it over the net, and guess what you should do? What should you do, Mike?
Hit it back.
You did. That's why we're here. You hit it back.
Yep.
So I get excited and I whack it again. Now I'm tagging a little bit more. I'm getting a little bit harder, more aggressive. I want you to see me, right? I think on your case, I went into the live stream and I said, I'm calling in the hounds. Like I was real subtle about it. Right? So I wanted you to know that I was calling in the hounds. And then the thing went up, 12 viewers. And that I care about you. I'm a busy guy. Mm-hmm. So now you saw that, right? Does that make sense? That's what I'm trying to get people to understand. I want you to stop stressing. Okay, start focusing on things like curiosity, peak curiosity. Stop being forgettable. I made a spelling error the other day on my post. Well, I could have deleted it and screwed up the algorithm, but then I just made a joke about how I'm surprised I don't do it more often, right? And it happens to the best of us. And people responded to that. So I can't believe I haven't seen a course already on authenticity, like how to become authentic and in 3 days. It's coming. I can't wait for someone. And until then, I'm here to speak simple truth. Practice your kindergarten skills. Go out there and share your crayons, share a like, share a comment, do nice things. And if you can't be real, if you really can't be genuine and curious and care about something, then don't even try it. Find someone else. But man, your hairline will quit falling out if you just practice that. Smile, get yourself in the headspace. It's not just random people this is someone that's a real person behind the screen. They're the real person behind the text. People lose sight of that. It's just numbers, and that's half of it. But the other half is engaging with people and connecting and building that relationship from the first floor up. Mm-hmm. So that's how you start. Go out there, be nice. If they don't reciprocate, and what's that mean? So I hit the ball to you and I get that stupid thumbs up emoji, you know what I mean? Like it, then move on. It doesn't mean you write them off. It just means that they're just not priority. And if you do that to 20 people a day, come back to me and tell me if you got a problem. Yeah, you do have a problem now. You got too many messages. You don't know what to do with them, and you need to call me for help. That's what you need to do. You need to hire me to help you. So I want everybody to implore that. Go out there and do that. Test me, because I'm right. All right, I promise you.
That's great value, Mike.
Excellent.
Super
Excellent
value.
Yeah. And, when you talk about seeing people as real people, I think that is a problem we have on social media. Mm-hmm. Not nearly as much on LinkedIn as on other platforms, but it's a problem that we have seeing, like, I want quantity, right? I need 500 likes on that. I need 34 comments and 18 shares, right? And you're just not really thinking about the quality. You're only thinking about the quantity. That's one thing. The other thing is people can be extraordinarily rude on social media. Now, again, not as common on LinkedIn as on other platforms, but tell me a little bit about how you handle rude people. I'm dying to know this.
Oh, man, it depends on the level of rudeness, I got to watch mine. We need an OnlyFans so I can just speak raw, but it depends on what level. But here, use the block button. It's there for, God, you know how many times a day that I wish I had a block button in person, face to face? Wouldn't that be so cool? Somebody just acts stupid and it's like, boop, and they just poof into vapor. They could be eating steak dinner and I hit block and they just poof. Why would we torture ourselves with someone who makes our hairline fall out? Mm-hmm. But ignore, block if you think that they're just a good person at the wrong time. If they make you just go, oh, sweet Jesus, they use the block button. Because if you don't use the block button, we know there's some people with some issues and they could be around starting up stuff, reporting you for no reason. Life's too short. Use the block button. Or if you're not sure, ask good questions. If they can't have a conversation, move on, because you guys could have a conversation. That's why we're here. We could have a conversation. So I don't mean judge people. What I mean is observe and see where they're at. And you can make a little note, maybe check up in a month, right? Maybe I've had people in the house that, honestly, I can't say her name. I won't do that to her. Y'all probably figure it out. She's kicking my butt, right? So she is great. But she made me mad in the first 15 minutes we met. Yeah, about 9 months ago, she's my top leader, and she made me mad the first 15 minutes. The reason I kept her is because I could tell, just like myself, she was just going through things. She was a good heart, good person. She just going through stuff. And there was the man I told you about. He was there. I have no idea why that guy spent his time and energy on me. He didn't gain anything off me. So I seek to be that for other people. So here she is. I was patient. It took about 4 to 6 months. And then, like gas in a match, boom, she exploded. So it's 30% science, 70% art. All right.
Love that.
Right environment, mindset. That's why people hire me. So I can walk them through it so they don't fall off ledges and get eaten by bears on this journey and hike that we call LinkedIn. So don't overcomplicate it. Relax, smile. If somebody says something stupid, just laugh at it and say, wow, isn't that interesting? And just move on. Give yourself grace. There's too much uptightness out here.
So true.
Significance of your brand is important, because if you're doing your brand and your reputation and who you are right, I hardly ever meet anybody I can't stand anymore because they don't like me from the onset. It's seriously, it's like repellent. Like I got a can of bug spray just all over the place, right? I have 3 types of clients: clients now, clients later, and people who send me both. How could you lose if that's what you're setting out to be?
Absolutely. And, I always said that a great brand will elicit one of 3 different responses. Either that looks amazing, that's a fit, or that's not a fit for me at all, or, hey, that's pretty interesting, let me learn more. And any one of those 3 responses is correct. Even the one that's not for me. We have to understand we're not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to say something about Mike, guys, because I've been behind the scenes with Mike just a little bit in these last month or so. And yes, he does indeed have 25,000 followers on LinkedIn. That's not, you don't always find that, okay? But I'm not enamored anymore with the big numbers. What I am enamored with is the actual active, positive engagement inside of this community that Mike has built. It's insane. If you want to know how to do it right, this is the only guy that I've met that I know does it right. So there you go, Mike.
Yeah, and I'll second that, because we actually, being branders, we have worked with people with 100,000 Instagram followers, 125,000 Facebook followers, or Instagram followers. So mostly Instagram, the big ones. Didn't know what to do with it, didn't do anything positive with it, and admitted to us they didn't know how to do anything positive with it. And you definitely are a guy that knows how to do that positive. And Tanya showed me many times, look at this. He called out the hounds, and now they're comment. We're like, wow, that's incredible.
If you want to know what the hounds are, follow him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you here. You have to go follow him.
You got to look up Mike, and he'll tell you what it is. But yeah,
don't send me a message.
Yes.
Make a comment. And that's another thing. If you're trying to get people like me attention, don't send a message. Send a meaningful comment and show us that you paid attention. Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Break up and
he just gave you another takeaway too.
Hashtag, what are the hounds? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Do it, guys. Hit him up.
Yep.
All right, Mike, we're down to the last couple of questions for you. So here's one that we ask everybody, and we're definitely going to have you back so we could continue this conversation for days. But today we'll cap it off with this. If our listeners have the freedom to visit anywhere in the world, where would you recommend they visit and why?
I'm the wrong guy for that question. I don't even go to the gas station anymore. Like, I'm doing COVID 4 years after COVID, man. So seriously. The only reason I wear pants is because I'll stand up before I end the stream. I'm honestly, that's weird. I always, so a lot of people don't know this. I am a ancient Rome and medieval buff. I just love it. And most of what I've learned in business comes from the lessons of ancient Rome and the battlefields of medieval. I know it sounds crazy. My favorite book is The Art of War by Sun Tzu.
Yep.
And honestly,
do it.
I've beaten better people in deals just by using ancient stuff. But I would say Germany. I just think that the preservation of the history there, Rome would have to be second. Italy, but I don't know. I just think that we get a bigger perspective of our tiny lives when we look at something that's been around for hundreds and thousands of years, and we just kind of let go. I think there's so much stress, and so I think that would be a relaxing kind of that, or a third world country. Honestly, I want to take me and my kids to a third world country, because I figured 2 days in those kind of places, we wouldn't complain anymore, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, we'd have water till the internet's out. It makes the internet being out a little bit easier to deal with, right? So I think anything that helps perspective, get out of your own head, that's where you should go.
That's a great answer. That's a really good answer. And I think travel does that. And that's really why we ask that question, because even if it's somebody that says, well, I haven't been, but I always wanted to, it's still something that's on their mind. And they usually have a very good reason why. And so I love that.
I just went to Dallas, but I'm in Louisville, south of Louisville, Kentucky to Dallas. Not that big of a difference. It's like when I went to, Atlanta. It's not, but when I went to Michigan, that was an eye opener, and I was a tourist attraction in Michigan in Battle Creek. So get out of your comfort zone. The world is much bigger than what we think. And I think if you're going to travel or try something new, read something new, just do something weird. That's why I do Pilates now. Who the hell thought I'd do Pilates?
I love it.
But I'm doing it, and it's saving my back. I've had firefighter, I've been a fireman for a long time, so it hurt my back. And, I sit around all day, 14 hours straight, building a business for my daughters and legacy. And Michael Gale come along and said, hey, you want to do Pilates? And I said, no, ain't that for like ballet dudes and rich women? He's like, do I look like those? And I said, no, I must be wrong. And he educated me, and now here we go. Yeah, dude, be open.
Love it.
I don't care if people say yes or no. Here's what I care about. Audience, listen. Know what the hell you're saying yes and no to. You can say yes and no, but if you're going to make a decision that could possibly change your entire life, do you want to base that on a little bit or all the information you can possibly get? It's simple as that. Figure it out, then make a decision. That's what we're about. You're about. My show, live streams about. Stop making excuses. Stop playing around. Do it, and either don't do it again or get better. Simple as that, guys.
Great advice, and great salesman advice right there. You can say yes or no, but know everything that you're talking about when you make that decision. I love that. How do people get in touch with you, Mike? What is the best way for them to get in touch with you and learn more about and do business with you?
Yeah, well, it was a carrier pigeon, but now I had to retire it. So now you can go to LinkedIn. All right, LinkedIn, Mike Asher Branner /Redneck1. I have a website that is so long because I usually don't have to say it out loud. It's theprobusinessmechanic.com, or YouTube, Hounds of Business at YouTube. Again, I don't care about what people come to me for. If you want to make more money, do better in business, grow your presence, have fun doing it, be in a climate that will push you up, but not make you feel bad and stupid, then that's what we're about. It's not just about me. It's about the community of folks. We've got stories that you don't have time for right now. I don't take credit for those stories. I put people in the right environment, and I foster that environment, and great professionals and good people do what they normally do, which is make things happen, right? In a positive, honest way. So, you can call me, check out my profile on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/n/redneck1. That's the best way. Send me a text, but let's talk, because if I can't help you, I'll know where to send you. That I don't care about if we can do business. I want you to do better, because guess what you'll do if I do that for you guys? You'll talk good about me to other people. It's free advertising. See, it's not all I'm a good guy. I'm actually a little selfish and a little strategic, right? I want people to be happy with me, because guess who they're going to talk about? Me, right?
Right.
Dude, last comment. I got a spotlight on my chest. Who can it shine on? Now, Tanya, you know the answer because I spoiled it. Anybody but me. But here's what people don't tell you. People are like reflector plates. And you go out there shining that spotlight on other people and the right people and sorting like we just talked about. And guess what? It'll shine 1,000 times back on you. That's what you see. I don't talk about me because I got Raquel Flores with her mega show talking about me half the show. Why? Because I've invested lots of time and lots of care and helped her get to where she's at. Good people can't help but to reciprocate. So go on LinkedIn, get the mind right, get your kindergarten skills right, go be genuine, helpful, inquisitive. I guarantee you. And then when you get more problems, like what do I do now? Then you call me, send me a message, and probably hire me so I can drive that crap home, buddy. Yeah, make that convert to money, because that's why we're here. All right?
Amen. Love it. Love it. Mike, thank you so much. You have been a delight as expected, and sure we'll have you back on again.
Hey, my pleasure. And again, the problem with having a live stream is that you just take other people's show, like you forget it's not yours. So you all did a great job keeping me corralled in. Love how you guys do what you do. You are something special. I've seen lots and lots of people, and you guys have so much to offer people. You're the complete package, and I don't say stuff I don't mean, so I wouldn't be saying that if that wasn't true. I look forward to working together and helping iron sharpen iron, man. I appreciate the opportunity. Really do.
Well, we appreciate you, Mike.
Thank you so much for the kind words. You're amazing.
Brought to you by BrandFace, the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.